Welcome to the Ultimate Bloons TD6 strategy series, where I'm going to be showing you strategies for every single tower from the Dart Monkey to the Beast Handler and every single path in between. This will show you how to diversify your setup and get better, along with seeing some stats, tips and tricks, and all of the strategies for every single one of the towers. And although that the series is geared more towards Chimps mode, this will also show you a lot of tips and tricks that apply to the standard game and will allow you to win with a new style. So we're finishing off the subs with the bottom path sub that has the sub commander, the armor piercing darts, and the triple guns. So let's get right into it. So starting off with the triple guns has a spam strategy, early game carry, and a starter tower. It's very good, as well as the armor piercing darts, which is an early game carry, mid game strategy, and has some mid game damage too. The sub commander can do late game damage and also mid game carry, so we'll take a look at these. So looking at the stats, here are all the stats. Again, you can pause it if you want, but you can notice that the triple gun is like one of the only towers where its portrait is head on, which I think looks really weird. Tell me what you think about that. But the other two towers, very good. Actually, well, all of these towers are very good. You'll see them a lot, extremely commonly used. Like I talked about other towers, like they're pretty good and they have potential. Like you definitely can use them, but these towers, they're always used, which I guess is a good reason to use them. They are very strong, but I guess that made the series like add the aspect of showing that other towers have a lot of potential and you definitely can beat chimps with like pretty much anything. So let's just talk about these ones. So the cross path is very simple. You always want to get intel on a map where intel like is pretty useless, then you probably don't want to use these towers. So that's kind of the rundown. Intel is just such an extremely strong upgrade, and when you compare it with just super fast attacking speed, it's just great. When it comes to the buffs, you'll see a lot these intel darts. Just like typically 002s, you can make them crossbows, get some extra range, and maybe help out in the early game. And then you'll also want to get an aught buff, just a B brew. No cross path really for a triple darts, or not triple darts, triple guns. That's a dart monkey. But when you get to APD, you can cross path it. Either 320 or 301 typically works fine. 301 is a little bit cheaper, but 320 will give you a little bit more strength, not to a whole lot though. And then you can get subcom. This guy, you also want to aught buff it. Now when we get to the spam strategies, we're gonna have a whole bunch of these subs, a good chunk of them, whether that be 203s or 204s, the triple guns or the armor piercing darts. We're going to want to get some stims on these guys. 401s, and we'll be able to cover fairly well a whole bundle of them. And then we can also get a village up. We'll need MIB at least to hit the DDTs, and then CTA is also a pretty good combination with this too. You can really take out a whole lot with a bunch of these guys and a CTA. So on maps it's good. It's not good on single lane maps where the subs can shoot into it. You don't want the subs shooting at the balloons, you want them shooting into the balloons, or else the airburst mechanic isn't going to be used very well. And also on maps where they're just going to be trailing all over, like on Pat's Pond, that's not good. We want it on something like Peninsula where they can shoot straight down into, and they're going to do a lot of damage very well. When it comes to heroes, you're going to have Brickle and Pat Fusty, who will be able to buff these guys in water very well, but you can also use pretty much anything, and the strategy is going to be pretty good. It doesn't really get as much benefit from the water buffs as other towers would, and if you're doing a mid-game carry, you want to specialize the hero for that. Anyways, let's take a look at some objectives. There's a whole lot: triple gun starter, APD early game carry, APD mid-game damage, the subcom spam strat, and a subcom mid-game carry. So a whole bunch of things that these guys can do, and they all do it very well. So let's get right into it. So for this game, I'm going to be starting off by finding where I want my subs, and I want them to be in the back, so they're going to be shooting into. This doesn't look like the most practical space for most strategies, but for this strategy, it's going to be best back here. So I'm going to get just a tower to start off with, so I can go into this very oddly placed airburst darts. Regularly, this sub spot would be very useless until you get intel, so that's why my start was a little wonky. On a lot of maps, normally you can just go straight for airburst and then like get your hero down. I have my intel dart. I'll get a few more of those guys later on, but now it's super easy. I can just go into a typical triple dart aught buffed early game carry. As you can see there, I have an AMD up that can pop the leads. on longer maps. On shorter maps, this definitely won't work. Even this length, it was kind of risky. Like a few balloons might have gotten through if I got a little bit less lucky. So normally just like a 1-0 sniper will cover that if it's a bit longer of the map. So just keep that in mind. Round 28 can be a little bit tricky, but I have my hero up now that I have Alk buff, all that stuff. We're going to be doing very well. You can also use your hero at later levels to pop the leads too. So that's pretty nice. Well, the ability will make the sub pop the leads. That's what I meant to say. Anyways, like round 40 is a breeze with this, no issues. Now I'm going to get a whole bunch of discounts. You're going to get the sub comm down there and just get a ton of triple guns around this guy. The water isn't like super bunched up, so they're kind of just going to be like spread out in this weird long line, which is a bit annoying. I'm going to have to get 2 jungle drums for that, and not all the subs will be under an MIB, but that's all right. The subs are pretty good at taking out TDTs, so at least most of them should be under the MIB, and you'll be able to take it very well. You can also do this where you get a bunch of triple guns and pair it with a preemptive strike that we saw from last episode. That is a very good strategy and a good way to do this. You could get the preemptive strike, or you could work around and get some more support towers in the late game for this strategy. So whichever one you choose. But yeah, that's how we do it. Anyways, you're given a choice now. You can either get subcom before round 63 to deal with round 63, or you can just get a triple guns. I got a little focused away with these discounts just because I'm getting 3 of them. So I'm like, oh shoot, I'm not going to be able to afford subcom before round 63. In order to do that, you'd have to start saving up before the middle of round 49 just to be safe. Say you're going to have to start saving up before round 49. So I wasn't able to do that, so I just get a bunch of triple guns. This actually also works. Much like the sniper spam strategy for round 63, you can either get elite sniper or just like a bunch of bouncing bullets to beat round 63. So a bunch of triple guns, you can get a whole lot of them with some Alk buffs. You should be able to beat 63 on like most all maps, which is kind of funny. And then you can get subcom later. Just start saving up for subcom before round like 80 hits. At least get subcom before round 80 hits, because once you get super ceramics and you don't have a subcom, you're in a little bit of trouble. So I'm going to save up for subcom now. Again, you could either do that or get the subcom before round 63 and then start building up your triple guns now. And then you just want to make sure you get that, fill out the rest of the triple guns, and then get a bunch of Alk buffs. Now on maps where you don't have as much space, you can do quite literally the same thing, but upgrade them to armor piercing darts later. So this is very common on muddy puddles, or at least it used to be very common. That's the way that I first black ordered it like 4 years ago. Kind of crazy. It was just the subcom strategy with a bunch of APDs in there. Triple guns with discounts are very, very cost effective though. So if you have the space, you can line up like a bunch of discounts. Then these guys can do a lot of damage for an extremely cheap price. And then with that, you can get intel darts and all to really cover the map. I got another one up there just to, why not? It helps a bit, so we can do that. Some good intel coverage definitely will make your strategy a lot stronger. But anyways, we're going into the 80s, and as you can see, everything's getting like completely obliterated. We have a lot of damage, and it's really great. I get MIB, upgrade the last ones to triple guns, and then I'm going to grab a few more Alk buffs, and we are doing just chilling. So everybody's going to be getting the brew. They're all getting drunk. They're all going crazy. What a time to be alive. Anyways, let's move right on to late game support. So you can just get regular support to help out. You could get like a relentless glue, that's going to help out a whole lot. A few Moab presses, a Sabo, maybe deal with DDTs, especially if a few of them aren't under MIB, and that's just going to round off everything. This generally does have a lot of round 100 damage. On shorter maps, you probably still will need a first strike, so like cargo, if you're pulling this off on cargo, which you can very easily do, you might want to get like a first strike for that. On muddy puddles, I do specifically remember round 100 being pretty brutal because the timing was quite hard. It was like at the very end. But if you're on a longer map like this, I quite literally beat it up. You also can grab that CTA that I mentioned before. So I'm going to do that there, and I can use those abilities. The naval tactics, Megamind, CTA ability will juggle them around there. But if you're doing this, you definitely want to make sure you grab like at least an R glue and maybe one Moab press, because CMGs can be a little bit more tricky in this strategy. So we're going to beat up round 98 very easily. I think you'll notice I forget to hit the button, the naval tactics button on round 99. So it does get a little bit close. Probably want to hit that one a little bit earlier, to be honest. but round 100 just gets absolutely shredded, no issues, and I win with 35k spare, so you can spend that money on like support and stuff, but very great, just has a ton of damage. Now, let's take a look at the early game carry. It's very simple, kind of just like what I had there, but you'd probably be working on another setup elsewhere. Just a few intel darts and out buff triple guns, and this is just going to deal with your early game. So if you're like going into a tower that just has a really bad early game, like keep dying if you're trying to save up into this tier 4 perhaps, then you can grab that and will do very well. Same thing for a mid-game damage option with an armor piercing darts. You throw that in, it's going to be doing good damage mid-game. Anyways, let's take a look at our next example, which is going to be the subcom mid-game carry. So you can very easily do the strategy, which I haven't seen a whole lot recently. Like when I say recently, I mean like past 3 years. I remember about 4 years ago this was super common. It was a common thing you'd see, but I was like, I'm gonna see if this still works out pretty well, and yeah, it does. I didn't really expect it wouldn't. These towers didn't really get many changes in that past time, but the whole idea is you just get one subcom, maybe an armor piercing dart or a few triple darts, outbuff those guys up, and they'll be able to save up quite a lot of cash. So let's do this on the new, actually no, this is the newest map. I think last time I said Luminous Cove was the newest map. This is the newest map, actually. Okay, interesting mistake. But anyways, let's just go straight into the strategy. I'm going to be getting the airburst darts right there. Yep, that's an airburst darts. Get the Churchill up. I'm going to be on the buff tile, pretty cool. Churchill's going to do some nice work. And then we're going to go into an armor piercing dart, outbuff that, make sure we have the intel. Everything's going to be all very nice. So as I said before, when it comes to heroes, if you're doing this mid-game carry, you can do whatever hero you want that probably more particularly relates to the tier 5 that you're going to be purchasing later, that the mid-game will allow you to purchase. So I'm going to be going for Churchill just for some damage. I'm going to eventually be getting Moab Domination later on, so it is a more expensive upgrade, just to kind of show you that you can push way into some very expensive upgrades that don't have any power as their tier 4, like as a Moab Domination would. Let's get just some drums here. I'm going to get a stim. It's going to be 4-2. It's going to buff these two towers, these two subs very well. This is just going to be a triple guns and an armor piercing darts. I could upgrade that to another armor piercing dart. It would do a little bit better, but I'm just going to keep it like this and then go into a sub commander, and then it will be time to save up. So it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. You save up. So there I was able to get the subcom before round 63, and now we just keep rolling. You can use your hero abilities to help out if you need to, but it will take out with like round 78. Very nice, very easy, as long as you have good intel coverage. 78 will be gone. The BFBs on round 75, they're going to be gone. CMG on 80, and it can even push into the 80s a little bit. It just, once you get past 85, it's probably going to fall apart, especially on these shorter maps. Anyways, I grab my Moab Domination, more than enough cash. I get it around like 84, I think. I can outbuff this guy, get an overclock, all the support that I'll need for the Moab Domination, and a first strike to round everything off on 100, and we basically destroy, no issues. Extremely strong and very cool strategy that you might want to try out. So as I said, this was something that I haven't really seen a lot, but definitely is a viable option if you want to check out doing a very cool mid-game carry with the subs. It also will make your early game very easy too, because these guys are great at the early game too. Anyways, that's going to be pretty much it. So bye and enjoy the subs. Thanks for watching. If you want to help out the channel, you can check out these new videos, like and subscribe for more content, support the channel by becoming a member, and joining the Discord to chat with the community. Bye!